It's getting quite critical now, that capacity situation from a liner point of view. Okay, if we accept that they haven't got big lots of cash that are sitting on from the last 2 years to get them through it. But purely when you're looking at those numbers, we've got a lot of new deliveries due this year and next year. How will the lines deploy them? And is it going to vary between the Asia Europe service, for example, and the Trans Pacific?
Well, the question almost doesn't ask itself because there's so many ships ordered that the answer to the question, where are they all going to go, needs to be everywhere. So every trade will have to absorb these ships. Uh, Also, don't underestimate, there's a lot of capacity nowadays deployed on regional services, ships that we might still think of. I just see it passing by on the Elbe River. It still feels like a big ocean-going ship, and it is. But nowadays, 8,000, 10,000 TEU ships are vessels that can be deployed on certain high-volume regional trades, like, for example, in Indonesia or between Southeast Asia, India, just for example. So what every trade will have to absorb them. And the thing that makes me at least a bit hopeful is that for the first time, maybe in history or in the history of container shipping, we're coming towards a point where some of the order book might not be for growth, but actually for replacement. Believe it or not, for the last 20 years, the global container fleet has grown by roughly 1 million TEU every year. So meaning we're at 26 million TEU now. We've been at 6 million TEU 20 years ago. And for the first time, I think we're heading into a phase where many of these orders will be for replacement, for cleaner ships, more efficient ships, safer ships, and not necessarily for growth. There will still be growth in the market, but to some degree, growth in container shipping is maxed out because there's no more geographies to expand into. There's not much more slow steaming you can implement because you're already slow steaming. There are no more commodities you can really expand container shipping into because everything is already containerized with very, very few exceptions. So we will see maybe for the first time on a big scale, on a global scale, in the next 5 to 10 years, a fleet renewal and vessel replacement scheme, which means that the number of tonnage will have to go to scrap, and that could concern ships, depending on how the economy and how the trade fares, which are maybe barely even 15 or 20 years old at some point.